Hello and welcome back to Women's Football Talk, the YouTube channel that brings you all the latest news and stories from around the world of women's football as and when it happens. Now before we get into today's rundown, make sure you smash that subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell so we can hit 500 subscribers before the end of the year, and that you are following us on Twitter and on Instagram for all the latest news and stories as and when it happens. So before we have a look at this weekend's fixtures, let's have a look back at the Champions League that was this week. So it was match day 4, the start of the second half of this season's group stage phase. So on Wednesday, Lyon beat FC Zurich 4-0 and Arsenal beat Juventus by 1-0 in Group C. So that has Arsenal at the top and Lyon in second with Juve in third. In Group D, Benfica beat Rosengard by 3-1, and at the Allianz Arena it was Bayern Munich beating Barcelona by 3-1. And then on Thursday, PSG beat Vlasnia 4-0, Real Madrid and Chelsea drew 1-1, VfL Wolfsburg beat AS Roma 4-2, and St. Pölten drew with Slavia Prague 1-1. So some fantastic results and interesting scenarios in the Champions League. Fifth match day will take place next Thursday and Friday, and Wolfsburg have become the first team to be through to the knockout stages already. So let's have a look at the weekend's worth of fixtures. Now many leagues are finishing this weekend because it is their winter break, including here in England with the WSL. So the first game we have to look forward to is the big one from the Etihad Stadium as Manchester City play Manchester United at 12:30. Now obviously the two teams in really good form at the minute. Manchester City have won 9 in a row in all competitions, whilst Manchester United have only lost the once in the WSL this season, losing to Chelsea the other week. So it's going to be a really interesting game, and I think this is probably going to be one of the closer Manchester derbies that we've had, and it's definitely potential to see that both teams can definitely win this. We haven't had, as of time recording, Gareth Taylor's pre-match conference regarding this. However, we've had Mark Skinner's at Man United, and the only bit of injury news potentially would be Canadian international Adriana Leon, who's been suffering with flu. So we don't know whether she'll be available for this one or not. But it's going to be a really good game, and it's going to be interesting to see if both sides make changes from their midweek Conti Cup actions, which I'd expect both of them to do. And now have a look at the rest of the fixtures taking place on Sunday. We have Brighton versus Everton, Liverpool versus Leicester, Tottenham versus West Ham, Aston Villa versus Arsenal, and Chelsea versus Reading. Now Chelsea, Reading and Aston Villa versus Arsenal are the later games, 4:15 for Aston Villa Arsenal and 6:45 for Chelsea Reading, whilst the rest of the games are taking place at 2 p.m. So it's going to be really interesting to see how them games go out. I mean, obviously Brighton looking better in their second half last week against Manchester City. We'll be hoping for a better performance against Everton. Leicester are still searching for their first points of the season this year in the WSL, so it's going to be very interesting. Can they actually get something against probably their easier opponent in Liverpool after last week's hammering against Chelsea? Tottenham West Ham is going to be a really good game. Two teams close to each other in the table, only 3 points separate the two sides. So I'm expecting a close fought battle there. Aston Villa versus Arsenal. Can Arsenal do what Man United did last week and control Rachel Daly so she has little to no presence in the game and frustrate Carla Ward's side? And Chelsea, can they continue their excellent form in the WSL, obviously having only lost the once, and obviously after drawing on Thursday evening in the Champions League they'll be looking to get back to winning ways. So let's have a look at the games around Europe, and we'll start off over in Spain. We have two games on Saturday with Madrid CFF taking on Valencia and Barcelona taking on Alhama, with the rest of the games taking place on Sunday, with the key fixture being Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid from 7 o'clock GMT. Over in Germany, there's the one game tonight as Eintracht Frankfurt take on Turbine Potsdam, with Bayern Munich taking on Bayer Leverkusen on Saturday afternoon, which should be a really good game between those two sides. I think it's going to be a really close battle between them. And then the rest of the games take place on Sunday, with Wolfsburg taking on Meppen. Over in the Netherlands, we have had one game yesterday between Den Haag and Feyenoord, which Feyenoord won 2-0. And then we have 3 games today, so that is Zwolle versus VV Alkmaar, and Telstar versus PSV, and Heerenveen versus Excelsior. And then the one game on Sunday as FC Twente take on Fortuna Sittard. Then over in France, we have the one game today as Fleury 91 take on Bordeaux, and then 3 games on Saturday, and then the big one on Sunday is Lyon versus PSG, 8 o'clock. So that's going to be a really good watch there. 2 top sides obviously in France. It's going to be a really close battle. Not too sure how I'd expect this one to go, but anything can happen, and obviously a win for PSG would see them leapfrog Lyon into the top of the table, and whoever loses this game will lose their first match of the season, should there be a loser of it, which obviously neither side wants to happen to them. And then finally over in Italy, we have 3 games on Saturday as Pomigliano take on Inter Milan, Sassuolo take on AC Milan, Parma take on Fiorentina, with the rest of the games on Sunday, with the big key interest game as AS Roma take on Juventus. So some fantastic games to look forward to this weekend as we come towards the end of the competitive fixtures in 2022. So it's going to be some good and interesting stuff to see what happens in these games, and I am looking forward to it. We'll have the recap on Monday to look back at these weekend's fixtures, and we'll also have our rundown earlier next week to look ahead to match week 5 in the Champions League. So we are still bringing you content throughout the rest of the year in 2022, despite club fixtures in many leagues finishing this weekend. Obviously the Spanish league continues for a little bit longer as well as usual. So that is it for this week's video. Make sure you like and subscribe and turn on the post notification bell so you never miss a video, like I said at the start, and that you're following us on Twitter and on Instagram for all the latest news and stories as and when it happens. And until next time, we'll see you soon.